So, all right, I guess we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them out. We even have the option for you guys to speak in this if you guys want, if you're feeling like you can. And all we got to do is enable your mic, and you guys can go ahead and talk. Since this class is really small, that means we can get those individualized questions. So, like I said, if you do have a question, feel free to ask. All right. Now, when we're talking about SVG files, what are SVG files? How's that compare to, the photos that we find? Because there is a difference, guys. There's a big difference with that anyway. Basically, when we're talking about the difference between photos and SVGs, if you go on Google and you do an image search, you're probably more than likely going to find a photo. And photos are not that great when it comes to cutting, unless you're tracing it. All right, so here's some formats that you may find as a photo. You have the PNGs, you have the BMPs, which is better known as a bitmap, and then we have JPGs or JPEGs. Some folks know what that is, and then we have the GIFs. Those are basically the four major types of images that are out there. Web Pages uses. This is what, when you take a photo, one of these formats is probably what's going to be it. The SVG file, you can sort of see that, this is what SVG stands for. It says Scalable Vector Graphic. And what's great about this is when you zoom in, you're going to see this here shortly, when you zoom in on an SVG file, it really doesn't change. It doesn't get blurry. So when we take a look at a photo, hopefully you guys are familiar with this, is, when you take a photo and you try to zoom in really tight, it gets very, very pixelated. And, that's the problem with photos. Now, when we're talking about SVG files, they have, where you can zoom in, and it doesn't matter how far you zoom in, it still looks as clear as it did from far out all the way when you get real nice and tight. Okay, so that's what that is. Now, let's sort of take a look at this may not be interesting to you guys, but if we took a simple square from Inkscape, for example, and we were to make that an SVG file, and we take that same square and we turn it into a photo, and if we take a look at what the code looks like in it, this up here at the top, you can tell that this is an SVG file. This is what your cutter needs in order to know where the boundaries are. So if you can imagine a grid and dots, we're connecting dots when we are using SVG files, which is why they come out cleaner as far as the cuts go when we have an SVG compared to a normal image. The cutter does not know where those boundaries are. So to sort of reinforce this idea, so this down here is, of course, the the code that you would look at is if you were to read this code from a normal square photo. Okay, that same square SVG file spit out this. Okay, so if we go back to mathematics just a little bit, and we take a simple square, when we put this into our cutting machine, when we put this into our cutting program, it reads that file. It says, hey, there needs to be a point right here, there needs to be a point right here, here, and now we need to connect the dots and make it a square, and we're going to fill it in with a color. That's what an SVG file does to you when we bring it into like Cricut Design Space. All right. So let's go ahead and, how do we use SVG files? So we need to find them, and then we need to use them in Cricut Design Space. So at this point, I'm going to turn my screen over to Michelle, and hopefully she's still there. I don't know, I don't hear her, but we'll see. Okay. So we're going to turn the screen over to her, and we're going to show you, how do you find these files, these SVG files, and how can we get them into Cricut Design Space. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my sharing and then let Michelle go ahead and take over.
Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I am. Is everyone else able to see Michelle's screen? All right, Linda says yes. Woo-hoo. Vivian said yes. All right, cool. And we can all see your screen.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I'm owner of SVG Hunter, and I'll also be in the background assisting Rob during the webinar tonight. What I'm going to do is one of my favorite sites to recently my favorite sites to get SVGs from is lovesvg.com. And if you are into vinyl, they have, she has many quotes, and this is great for doing vinyl work, or if you're doing heat transfer vinyl for shirts. There's a lot of files, as you can see here, and she has a lot of different quotes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be downloading this particular one right here. Okay, and you're going to want to scroll down. All right, and what you're going to want to do is select this right here, the pink. See, it changes, it turns to pink. So you're going to download the zip. Okay, and I'm going to save it.
Now, something else I want to point out while we're on Michelle's screen here real quick. If you could scroll up real quick, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, scroll up to where we get to see what's included in her download, because you know, this is something to bring up, guys. If you're checking something out, you need to make sure that you are getting the right stuff and importing or uploading the right stuff. A lot of times I see users, they're like, hey, I uploaded this file and it's not going right. What am I doing wrong? Well, if you take a look, these are the files that she has that will be included in the zip file. But what makes it nice for folks that have stores or have blogs that are able to download things, they'll compile everything into a zip folder, and they expect you to unzip it, and you're able to pick out what file you need. Now, with that said, you know, Michelle's going to show you how you can unzip files, because obviously this is a zip file. It's much easier for that designer, that creator, to give you multiple formats of that same file, you know, in a single download. So that's why there's a single download and it's a zip file. And Michelle's going to show you that here. But I just wanted to bring that up. And then also, Michelle, don't forget to, you know, this website, just be very careful on what you click on. Right? Because you can see, you know, Michelle brought this up. I have an ad blocker on, so I never see this stuff. But take a look at that stuff. That is clickbait candy, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click on that, you're not going to get the file. So make sure you just click on the pink one if you do visit this website. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes there'll be another ad down below here as well. So when you get there and you go to download, you're a little bit confused at which link to click to download the file. So you always want to make sure you download this one here as well. Okay, so the file's been downloaded, and I'm going to unzip it. Okay, and then we're going to go to Design Space, and I'm going to upload the image. Okay, I'm going to click Upload Image and browse.
Oh, hey, Michelle, can you go back? Oh, never mind. Go ahead and hit cancel real quick. I also wanted to bring up something else. You know, so this is the formats that this one uses. Okay, JPEG, GIFs, PNGs, bitmap, SVGs, and DXFs. Now, Love SVG file, they also include in their downloads a DXF. Okay, what we need is SVGs, because the SVG not only tells the cutter where to cut, but it also retains the color properties. Okay, so all right, sorry. I'm going to bring things up as
That's
we go.
okay.
I just want to make sure they understand.
Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go to Browse, and I'm going to click on the SVG. Okay, and then I'm just going to click save. Okay. And I'm going to add it to the, insert it to the mat. Okay. Now, as you can see, if you click go, okay, you have all the file, the file has been separated.
Yeah, and that may not be what you're wanting when it comes to cutting vinyl, especially if you're trying to keep everything nice and neat, and the way that you saw it on the original design page. So Michelle's going to show you how we can keep everything organized when it comes to that, because SVG files, when they come in as a group, right?
Mm-hmm. Now it can be grouped, so then you're going to need to ungroup it. Okay. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to hide this for a moment. And I'm going to select all. And then I'm going to attach.
Yeah, so Michelle did a really smart thing by hiding the color that she didn't need, so she didn't have to individually click on each one. But some SVG files are going to be like multicolored, so you're just going to have to be very careful when you did that. So she selected everything and clicked attach, and
well, if there is multiple colors, then what you can do is use the shift key and select each color and then do the attach. Okay. Okay, and then when you hit go, okay, now you have everything is all nicely put into place. And you have two mats. So then when you cut, it's all going to cut evenly.
Yes, and I mean, that's what the attach feature does. That's what it makes it all nice and perfect as if you saw it on your design page to begin with. So that's just something that you have to keep in mind. It depends upon designers on how they make their SVG files. However, with this designer in particular, every single thing is individualized, and that's what you're going to have to do for that SVG file anyway.
Okay.
Now, Michelle, will you do me a favor and go ahead and show us what I was sort of talking about with folks uploading the wrong file. That in particular, maybe it being the photo, the G. And I want you to see what screen you get when it comes to that, because this is key, guys. In seeing, did you upload the SVG or did you upload a photo? Because you're going to tell right away. So you can see that it says a .png right there. Okay.
She includes the DXF file,
DXF,
the PNG, and the SVG.
Yes. So if you guys are looking for cutting, that's what you would use, is the SVG file. If you guys are doing print and cuts, we're gonna show you that here. The SVG is still better than the PNG file if you are going strictly off cutting. Okay. So you see that a lot. That menu has now changed. It's saying, hey, this is an image. What kind of image is it? What are we tracing? We don't need to trace if we have an SVG file. It already has the code inside the file in order to tell that cutter where to cut. So when you upload this to Design Space, it sees everything's in ones and zeros, and it's trying to find what's the difference between the background and the text that's on here, the background and the whiskers. So it's a little harder for Design Space to find that. But what the SVG file has in it, it knows where to cut based upon that.
Okay. And did you want me to go back?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to show them, this is the screen that you would see if you uploaded the wrong thing, if you uploaded the wrong file type.
Okay.
All right. Good deal. Are there any questions about that in particular? All right, not seeing any questions, so I think they understand that part.
Okay.
So good deal, good deal. So that's how you can find that, find those SVG files on, or download it and use it. Okay. Um, now speaking of SVG files, Michelle, do you have any, off the top of your head, some places where you like going to get SVG files, whether that be for free or for paying?
Yeah, I like to go to birdscards.com. Also, Miss Kay Cuttables, she offers a free daily file, as well as Daily Art Hub. I believe they offer it just during the week, and weekends they don't offer files. It's just during the week.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, someone else mentioned before this little webinar got started, they like going to Dreaming Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Dreaming Tree offer free files. Do they, Michelle?
Yes, they do. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Usually, when they
Are they on
put
a
out,
rotation, or do they stay free the entire time?
no, they stay free the entire time. Usually, when they put out a bundle for a release, usually about 4 or 5 days later, then they will offer a freebie as well.
Okay. Yeah. So that sort of brings up another point, guys. That some companies they'll release a freebie and it's free the entire time that they have the store open. Other companies they go with a weekly freebie or a daily freebie. So it just depends upon the company, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me see something on I want to go ahead and minimize this because we touched up on a lot of stuff. Now let's sort of talk a little bit about utilizing Pinterest. I don't know if you wanted me to share my screen or if you wanted to.
I can share it if you like.
Okay.
Yeah, once you log into
Oh, wait.
Pinterest.
Okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Well, you're fine. I'm just making sure I still see your screen.
Oh, could you see it?
Yep, I can see it.
Oh, okay. Once logged into Pinterest, you can do a search for free SVGs, and that will bring up a listing of all the free SVGs. And as you can see, there are many, many different files. And some of these, like we were saying before, some of these will be offered just for either a day or just for that particular week, and then they change out the following week.
Yes. I mean, some folks they go. If you click on some of these, you'll be taken to the website. That's what I sort of like about Pinterest, is a lot of people will tag or pin what they like when they go to a website for future. So you guys can even create boards as well of SVG files, so that you guys can start building your library of SVGs of where to go. Now, there's also within here as well with the Pinterest you're going to see like buy now buttons and stuff. Some will take you to Etsy to buy some things. Some things to look for when you're buying things, and especially if you plan on using this for a business, is, what is the commercial licensing? Is there a commercial license to this? So you always want to keep that in mind when you're searching this stuff or finding out these files. Just check out what the licensing is if you don't plan on using it for just personal use only. Don't be tricked into thinking if you buy something off Etsy and it looks a lot like Disney, you may be wrong if you try to sell that stuff. I mean, honestly, even that person selling that stuff is wrong. Cricut actually has a license with Disney, so they're able to do that. But if it's not coming from a reputable company, I probably wouldn't trust it being legal for them to sell. So keep that in mind when you're hunting down those SVG files. Michelle, did you want to talk a little bit about licensing?
Yeah, most SVGs, the free files, they're just for personal use. Most times they do have a clickable link where you could click on that. They'll say commercial, and you can either purchase a commercial license just for that one file, or you can purchase a commercial license for like a year, and you will be giving multiple files that you can use the commercial license for. It may not just be strictly just for one file. They may give you, say, 100 or 500 use for that particular file or for the entire website. So you need to read each individual commercial license for each site, because they do vary from site to site.
Yes. Now, what about? Now, can you go to a website that like has designs on there, but people may want to read the fine print because, like I said, what you guys are looking for are SVG files, and you may hit a site up and you buy something. You're like, hey, where's this file at? So, are there websites out there that do not have SVG files that are associated with it?
Silhouette Store, they do have, they do not have SVGs. They're just to studio format, so they would not work in Cricut Design Space. And they do have free designs. If you click here, they're just strictly for the studio software.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and if you guys are coming from the studio background and you're trying to trying to get those as SVG files, there is a website out there that will convert your studio files out there to SVGs. I don't know how well it works, but some people are having luck with it. Do you know that website that I'm talking about, Michelle?
Is that the
all I do is inside Google, whenever I'm trying to convert files to SVG, I type it in the browser studio. So in this example, it would be studio and then space TO SVG. And there it is right there at the top. Ideas are us software. Mm-hmm. So if you guys do have this now, like I said, this breaks all kinds of rules with Silhouette Studio. However, I think they tried to go after this person that created this, but it's still up. It's been up for a year, and they even annotate on there saying that, conversions are not 100% error free. So they do update it. It does work with the few files that I've tried of converting to an SVG. So that's available to you. You can see.
You get 10 conversions
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. So yep, right there. Boom.
And then you can buy extra conversions. I think it's I don't know. Let me see.
So yeah, I mean you can buy the conversions from his store if you plan on doing more, or you just do your 10 a day.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming from that, like I said, if you're coming from the studio world, that's an option available to you. I do know the very first studio did allow for the export of SVG files. However, they have stopped that ever since. Very much like Design Space, if you bring in an SVG file, you can no longer share your project. So that's another draw down from using SVG files. However, SVG files, if you want to share an SVG file with somebody, assuming that it can be shared, all it is a simple email it to somebody. It's just like a photo. So that is how that works. So let's see. Vivian asks, she says, do you recommend one system versus another? I guess I need to clarify, or I need some more clarification on that. What system are we talking about? Are we talking converting SVGs? I don't know. Cricut versus others. I mean, when we're talking Cricut Design Space or Cricut, Cricut is great as a cutter. I think one of the drawdowns that we as users have is that it requires internet. So I think that's one of the drawdowns. However, we do have an iPad. Hopefully soon the Android folks will be able to do this as well. But iPad, you're able to work offline and still do your cuts. So That's the one drawback, but I think what Design Space was trying to do is not get any copyright infringement type of deals by this exact process, because we can take a Mickey Mouse SVG file, bring it into Design Space, and then cut it for our personal use, but we're not able to share that, and that's what Design Space has limited us on, is sharing. Even the studio folks, you can't sell studio files. So and also Scrappy Doo found that out the hard way. Got a letter of do not distribute anymore. So we stopped doing studio files with our downloads. So they restrict it. But in their pro version, they do allow SVG files. So it seems like SVG, I think Michelle can agree with me, is SVG files are almost like a universal file for every single cutting software in order to use. Whether that be Brother,
universal.
Yeah, whether that be Brother, whether that be Cricut Design Space, that be the Sure Cuts a Lot program, that be Make the Cut, they all accept SVG files, and mainly for the reasons that we're talking about today. It tells that cutter where to cut. So easy, but by just reading that file and what's inside. So so we'll go over a few. I'm gonna share my screen here a bit, Michelle, and make sure we cover everything. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. All right. So hopefully you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
All right. Good deal. And I'm going to make sure I can see the chat. Every time I share my screen, I get to lose the chat. So all right. So you guys are going to get a copy of a PDF of this entire lesson, so that this will walk you through the stuff. Now, we went through most of this stuff with Michelle's demo, but we got arrows pointing to where we need to go, okay? So in Cricut Design Space, once you get your SVG file, of course, we click the Upload button. After that, this is the page that we see. We need to upload an image. We're not doing a pattern fill. We're doing this right here. As we're uploading that image, we're clicking the Browse. We're finding our file. We click the Open, and there it is. We can add names. We can add tags to it so we can better find it when we need it. And it's always going to be in our cloud. So when we upload this SVG file, our iPad, our Android devices that are able to use Design Space will be able to access these SVG files, right? This is that screen that I wanted to warn you guys about. If you guys ever are like, hey, I bought an SVG file, but it's looking like this, so hopefully this screen here will remind you. If you see this, you did not upload the right file. You uploaded a photo file. That one file that has all those various characters in it, not the ones that give us exact points on where those SVG files, on how to cut those SVG files. It will always be there in your library. You can always click on Insert Images, and it will put it on there. Highlights from what we talked about with, SVG files. When SVG files get imported into Design Space, they are in a group. So keep in mind, you have to ungroup them in order to move individual items and to attach them so that everything will look fine when you click that Go button, right? So where are some places to find SVG files? We talked about a few of them. We got the free stuff. We got the ones that you pay for, and where do you find the free stuff? You got blogs. You got the stores that we talked about that either have it for a limited time or it's forever. Just like Leo's site. Michelle says it gets offered forever. You have Miss Kate Cuttables. You said they're daily. Is that right, Michelle?
They're daily.
Yeah, Miss Kate, they're daily. All right, so it's hard to keep up with all these.
As well as Daily Art Hub, they're daily as well.
Yes, and you got main stores. Of course, we got Scrappy Doo, My Scrap Chick, etc. So those are the main ones. Etsy is also a big one that has SVG files. You can do a search in Etsy and try to find what you need. Okay. We talked about this. Be careful, things to look for. Always check for the commercial use policy before you buy, before you download, because everyone gets gets a little upset if they start seeing their design ending up on eBay for sale. Also, a lot of folks, to include ourselves, we don't allow you to, sell or share the SVG file with anybody else. So that's what that deal is. Was that the angel policy, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure when you purchase the file, we look for that SVG. I circled that on Michelle's page when we went to Love SVG. So make sure that you always have the SVG file. That's what you get. That's what you want with your download. This comes from My Scrap Chick, and as you can see, every design in here comes with AI, DXF, GSD, SVG. SVG is the one that we need, all right, in order to get this. Okay. Don't forget SVGs. They'll all, typically come in zipped files unless you email it to somebody. But this allows the creator to give multiple files of the same pattern with a single download. Just makes it easier on us, the shop owner, and you as well. Michelle had to double click on hers, and that would unzip it. On window users, make sure you right click extract. That's what you need to do. All right. And then we talked about Pinterest, talked a little bit about Pinterest. And before I move on to, how do you create your own SVGs? Because, a lot of folks are wanting that. I'm going to turn it over to Michelle again because she has sort of developed this, she came up with this idea of, and she manually does this too. I'm going to have her explain what she does with this because it may be an interest to you guys, especially if you're into SVGs and you're into free SVGs, because she has indexed a lot. Wouldn't you say, Michelle?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to stop my sharing, and I'll let you go ahead and share your screen.
Okay.
And
okay, can you see it?
yeah, I can see it. Hopefully the others can see as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Stephanie said yes. Vivian said yes, so they can see.
Okay. Yeah, we have a little over 4,300 SVGs cataloged in the program right now.
So that's 4,300 guys of free SVG files. Now something that we haven't even talked about. These are premium SVG files. When I say premium, they're not just somebody that's in a Facebook group just tracing in Inkscape and you're getting rough edges. We're talking about nice, smooth edges. SVGs that should be in stores and people pay for, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she came up with this idea like what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, about 2 years ago. And the program it allows you to search and find SVGs within the program for use for your cutting machines. And the database, like Rob is explained, it does contain thousands of free SVGs. And you can search the SVGs based by the tag or the file name. You want me to open the program? You know what? I can't because then the code is there.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I can't. Okay. Unless I stop sharing and then I can open it and then we could reshare again.
Yeah, go ahead and
stop. I can do a demo. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and stop screen share, and I'll sort of explain things about the SVG Hunter. So Michelle, on a daily routine here, will actually wake up, find those websites that are offering their daily deals, upload them to the database, remove them if they need be, and keeping that database, making sure that it is up to date. There's no robots or anything going on with this. It's all Michelle, hands job, hands on this job here of creating this stuff. So go ahead, Michelle.
Okay. Yeah, I usually typically start out with the sites that offer the daily daily freebies, like Miss K Cuttables, Daily Art Hub, Cuttable Designs. They're also known as Apex Embroidery Designs. And then throughout the day, the program may be updated again a few more times depending who may offer freebies on that given day. You know, you have the daily ones, like I said, that is Miss Kate Cuttables, but then you have some sites that will just offer a free file. There is Kimber Dawn and Co. company, and they're not on a schedule. They just offer it sometimes every Friday. Sometimes they'll do it once during the week. So then I have to visit each site daily to see what they have for offering that day. So it is a little bit time consuming. With the program, when you open it up, this is what it looks like. And there is the total SVG count. And you can search by tags, or you could search by name. And you can also search alphabetically, or you can sort them by date. So if you sort them by date, these will be the latest SVGs that were added to the program.
Yeah, so I mean, if you already have the program and you need to know what has been added, added most recently, because maybe you scrolled through a few, you just click the sort by date, and boom, there it is. So, you can see what was added and, basically when since the last upload.
So if we do a search on heart, and I'll select tags and click on the search button. Okay, so these will be all the files that were tagged with the word heart. And then you can also click on name, do search. And these will be all the files that have heart in their name.
Yeah. So how would you use this? Well, you click on one of those, and then you click on the button that says visit the website. The
Yes.
program doesn't download anything. It doesn't steal from the person. It creates traffic for that person. So that's a big difference, or a huge thing for us when we're making this and thinking about this. Is we want to make sure that they get the traffic they deserve, and it will be somewhere on that page for them to download.
So for example, this is one of Love SVG's files. And then if this is the file that you're looking for, you would just click visit website.
Michelle Stephanie has a question. She said, if they were free for a certain day and they are deleted after that day, or are they deleted that day or after that day, or do they stay in the database so you can find it and purchase it if you desire?
They will stay in the database because this is a free, basically cataloging all the free designs. If someone, for example, Miss Kate Cuttables, she offers the free daily downloads. Each morning I will go in and I will update the program with that new download for the day.
Mm-hmm. What happens with the old file that used to be free?
It then sometimes she will put it in, like, I believe she puts them for 50 cents. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the month, all those freebies are grouped together. And then you could buy a package of, all the freebies that were offered for that particular month. And that maybe, I'm very sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I'll ask her the question when she comes back about if she removes it from the database itself. So
sorry about that. I'm sorry.
You're fine. So when you remove, when say for example, Miss Kate Cuttable, today's daily download is free. Tomorrow it goes on sale for
Correct.
money.
About 50 cents she offers it.
Do you remove that from the database, or do you keep it in there?
No, I remove it from the database, and then I will put the next day's daily file in there.
So every single SVG file that is on here is free, rather than it getting cluttered up with stuff that, because I'm assuming probably people will get angry, say, hey, I clicked on this, it's no longer free, take this out of the database. So Michelle keeps it up to date and clean so that every single SVG file that is on there is free. Now, I will say this, that Michelle, I think you said you've gone through 3 times, 4 times, because Michelle does not approach these people and say, hey, I'm going to index your site for you. Is that okay? I mean, she just does it. Now, if that person happens to update their website that's when it creates a huge headache for Michelle, because now she has to go on there and update all the links, or maybe she even gets to the point and says, you know what, forget it. We're
No,
just
I've,
going to
I'm
remove them.
working. Yeah, I'm working on Bird's cards right now because she first offered her files on her blog and then she opened up a store. So she then took the files from her blog and placed them at the store. And she offered a freebie recently. I can't recall which one it was. And what happened, there was so many people that were trying to download that particular file that it crashed her site. And she didn't realize it crashed because of the difference in time zones. And she woke up the next day with the site being crashed. And then her normal customers also could not purchase anything because her site was crashed. So then she then decided to place the files back onto her blog. So I'm in the process now of recataloging her site for the third time, because I first cataloged it on her blog, and then she moved everything to her store. So then I had to re-catalog everything because of course all the links had changed, and now she's placing everything back on her blog again, but she's not placing them in the same order that they originally were. So now I have to recatalog everything all over again.
Oh
So
man.
I'm in the process of some links that you may click on her particular files. They may not take you to the correct place, but I am updating it, and it does take a little while. So
Yes.
eventually it will be corrected, but you know, and
Oh yeah.
she's doing it by seasons. Like for example, she did Halloween. Now she's doing all the Valentine files. So
Yes.
I imagine next will probably be the winter ones. So
Yes, Stephanie said that she likes that you can sort by date, and she's like she has a few websites that she checks regularly, and
mhm,
it's just nice to have something all in one place. So,
mhm.
yeah, I mean, if you if maybe Michelle's not up
You
to
can
it,
also
but
filter by
it,
the folder as well.
yeah, if you have a website that maybe Michelle doesn't know about, feel free to share it, and maybe if you're really nice, she may index that for you. Wink, wink, right? So
Yeah.
yes, so you got filter by folder, so you can go in the
Mhm.
folders.
Yeah, this is the main folder, and then they're broken down into subfolders. And you can see in for this particular site, for baby, there's five files in this one. Boxes, there's three. Butterflies, four, and so on.
Yes,
And there's sports in here. There's every kind of particular file you can think of is indexed in here. All the popular sites are in here. There's a lot of blogs that are in here.
yes. I mean, look at that, guys. Woo.
Sports.
That's a lot of SVGs. I think you guys would be cutting for days if you had that stuff. It looks like Jana just popped in. So let's take. So what else we got with that program?
They can also go by. They can open the tag window,
Yep.
and
You can see everything that Michelle has already pre-tagged and stuff. So I think you can
tags.
click and drag that, right? Drag that into the search. Maybe I
Hmm.
don't know. I forget. Yep, there you go. So that came up with one file.
Hmm.
So you can sort of see what she used, because maybe you use a different tag, or maybe if you are in the European world and you spell something differently than Michelle does because we're American, check the tag thing.
Just drag it over,
Yep, drag it over, and you get to
and these are
see.
all the files associated with Balloon.
So another quick way to take a look at what you got. Right,
Hmm. Yes.
good deal. Now, so that's how you find the freebie ones. With SVG Hunter, or of course you can use Pinterest. You can go out and on your own find all that stuff, but this is available to you as well. SVGHunter.com is the website.
Hmm.
So, yep, she's got that up and running. All right. So, I know this is the topic of SVGs. Going to show you a few more things with SVGs because a lot of you guys will probably want to know how you can create your own, maybe, maybe use a photo. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys and sort of see what else we got left to talk about. All right. So we already talked about Pinterest. We talked about SVG Hunter. How do you create your own SVG sites, or SVGs anyway? You have several options available to you. One of those, let me pull up this real quick. So one of those options is, of course, websites. When you're talking about websites, you're talking about websites like Stencilgram. Have any of you guys heard of Stencilgram? All right. Guess nobody. Anyways, what Stencilgram will do for you is, say, for example, I have this photo right here. All I have to do is upload this photo. What a lot of people are doing with Stencilgram is putting these, because this is what it will give you. It will give you an SVG file. So what a lot of people are doing is putting this on those glass shower blocks, of people, of their family, of their dog, of a deceased member, just something to create somewhat of a vinyl effect. Okay, so that's what Stencilgram does. It's pretty cool on what it does. It's free to use, and that's what people use when it comes to that. Now, I know Vivian said no, she didn't know about Stencilgram. Once you start getting into the SVG world, it's almost hard to get yourself out because there's so many SVG files out there. There's so many things to create. And if you need something that is not in an SVG file, well, how can you make it, on your computer? Well, you got several options available to you. A lot of folks, they go with Inkscape because, like I said, you got Inkscape. It's free. However, I always tell people use caution when something's free. It may not always be for me, because when you open up Inkscape, you're going to take a look at it and you're probably going to say, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what is that? So you got to keep in mind that Inkscape is created for graphic artists. Same thing with Adobe Illustrator. It's created for, those graphic artists. You have craftedge.com. They created SureCuts-A-Lot. SureCuts-A-Lot is a tool for you to use that will, many of you may think that you're not able to use this for your Cricut Explorer. You can create an SVG file that can be used with your Cricut Explorer. That's how you get around it. But SureCuts-A-Lot is made for, it's made for the crafters out there. It has a lot of simple crafting tools that you would recognize. I'll throw one out there for you is, in Cricut Design Space, we have a term called welding, correct? Welding is where you fuse shapes together. In Inkscape, you know what it's called? It's called union. It's called union. That doesn't sound like a crafting term. You know what it's called in CraftEdge? It's called weld. So that's a thing that I always bring up with folks. Once they see what you can do with this program, they're pretty much amazed on what you can do, on how easy you can do it. And we've had webinars, and we have videos going over how to use that. All right. Perfect transition here to SVG Viewer. A lot of you folks may be window users, and what is included in your class, because you guys all decided to say, yay, I want to learn more about SVG files. I want to have, I want to learn where to find them, how to see them and stuff. Well, I'm giving you guys a free program inside your classroom. Hopefully you saw it, because I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here. Classroom. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm getting ready to pull it up. So we have, we're going to go with this one. Okay, so I want to go ahead and share my screen with you guys on what I'm talking about. All right, hopefully you guys can see my entire screen now. With Oh, yes. Yes. Stephanie says she loves Scal. Yep. Love Scal. All right. So when you guys log in, this is the website, or this is where you're going to need to go. Just click on this, and this will take you to the SVG viewer. Like I said, it's all included in your classroom price that you guys paid to come out here and watch. And I'm going to show you just a little bit about it. Even inside here, there's a video going over it, but I just want to show you on here, in case you guys haven't seen it, is the power of SVG viewer. So can you guys see my SVG viewer that I have right here on my screen? All right, cool, good deal. So the way that this works, and even inside that classroom lesson, I show you that you can go and you can go and get all these free SVG files that this other Facebook group here has. And like I said, this is the folder that I dropped in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pretend that you can take a look at what's inside this folder here. Everything is already categorized and everything. However, I'm the type of person that likes to see everything, and all you have to do is you don't have to open up each folder. You just take this right here, drag it, drop it, and it will index it for us, find out all the SVG files that we have on there, and you find the one that you want, these angel wings. Watch this. You just click View SVG in Folder, and it takes you right there. So there it is. It even highlights it for you. Like I said, Mac users, we are able to see previews of it in a thumbnail. Windows users, unfortunately, cannot. This is where this comes into play, the power of this. You can even label this as SVG bundle, and you can always return to it later. So I can load this one that I had. All right, hey, here's some of the SVG files that I use to help people out with, right? Well, let me go check my SVG bundle. Let me load that one, and it's right there. So you don't have to re-index it. Now, you would have to re-index it if you happen to, move this folder to some other place, to some other location, because it uses the file. It does not track folder file movements, or if you add any SVG files to the folder, it doesn't re-index it automatically. Okay, so that's what the SVG viewer does. I also brought up that you can, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. It will create an HTML preview of every single thing that was inside that file, and in a nice little browser where you can view. So you can say, oh, that's what's inside that folder, and you can take a look at what you need to get. So scroll over here. And if you need it, all you got to do is right-click it, save image as, and basically it will download it to your computer, and you can use it where you need it. So see, it even labels it right file. So pretty cool what SVG Viewer does for you with that aspect. Is there any questions with that? How that works and how that functions? Okay, good deal. Also included in your stuff as well was Scrappy Doo SVG files just for coming out. We put a lot of Valentine files in there, right around $20 worth of stuff. Where do we get this? I had to step away from the computer. Stephanie, you had to, when you log into your classroom, it's under the bonus material. Okay, so you're going to click on that. And of course, I haven't enrolled in the course, but you'll see it on here. So let me go back here and preview this as a logged in user real quick. So when you log in, you'll be able to click on your Cricut Newbie one, and you'll come all the way down here to where it says the SVG viewer, and you'll be able to download it. Okay. I want to turn off my volume here. So you're going to go here. It takes you to the purchase page. Okay. You click on click on this link here. That will take you to the website, and then you're going to type in this coupon code right here in order to check out, and it will be free. Okay. So that's how you're going to do it. That way we can push out an update to you through an email if you do, if it does require an update. Okay. SVG files, like I said, you're going to get all these. You got all these already. If you guys didn't check it out already, you have all these SVG files available to you. Just click on this one right here. Download that SVG webinar package right here. So that's $20 worth of Scrappy Doo files. So yes, yes, Stephanie, it will work on the external hard drive. You may not be able to load them depending upon, because sometimes when I boot up a computer and I have multiple hard drives that are connecting, they get labeled. You know, one gets the Echo, one gets the hotel drive. So you may have to just re-index it. Now, keep in mind, you do not want to drop and drag the entire C drive into that program. It will take forever for it to go through. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. We're also going, after this webinar is over, I'm going to also be releasing the entire PowerPoint presentation, so you guys will have that, as well as some additional videos that will help you with SVG files, and a PDF that you guys can download. You can download, view, so that you know how to upload those SVG files inside Cricut Design Space. So we got all that for you as well. All right. Now, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and back out of here. I will say this, that hopefully you did like the lessons today, and I do thank you guys for coming out and supporting the Scrappy Doo, right? But I will tell you this, if you are just getting into Cricut, and you guys can tell your friends this as well, if you're just getting into Cricut, and you're finding out that you're having a little bit of trouble with learning the Cricut Design Space, we put an entire lesson, I think it's a little over 2 hours worth of curriculum here. All right. We got a special discount for you guys if that's what you guys want to do. So I'll show that. And then also, I know that you guys mentioned that you're in SCAL. You got SCAL. We also have a SCAL course as well. And this is over 4 hours of video training if you don't have it already. And, this really goes into depth of, but they're all short, anywhere from a minute to, 8 minutes long when it comes to this stuff. So they're short bursts. They're not like, hey, sit and watch me for 4 hours talk. That's not what it is. If you want to find out something about layering, let's go ahead and figure out something about layering. Go through the entire layer panel lessons, and now you'll be somewhat of an expert, right, in that topic. So we have that available to you. So anyways, if you're into the Cricut Design Space, right now the January promotion is $35. If you go ahead and use the word Cricut SVG, because you guys came here and got this course or this webinar, you type that in at the checkout, it saves you an additional 50%. Normally we sell that for $75. So like I said, this month we're doing it for $35, and then you can get half of $35. So whatever that is, math folks out there. So yeah, SCAL course. Thanks, Jana. Yep, SCAL course is really good, really good. And if you guys do take the SCAL course, the coupon code for that is Cricut Lover, and if you do that, it gets you half off that as well. So that's what we give out when we do these webinars, and you guys attend. We give you as a little break on those courses that we do offer. All right. So I don't know. Is there any other questions about SVGs, about what places to go for that? So, all right, I'm not seeing any. What's up?
I was going to say that for all the people that are enrolled in the course tonight, I'm going to be selecting 3 members, and they will win a year's subscription to SVG Hunter.
Oh, that, yeah.
Will give me all the names of the people that have enrolled, and then I'll use random.org to select the winners.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so I'll give her that list tonight, and that way she can select those 2 winners, because yep, I totally forgot about that. Thanks, Michelle. Someone typed in the question here is, do you have any recommendations for people who want to do planner stickers? So do you want to hit that one up, Michelle, or did
By meaning by what software to use or just how to create them?
I don't know. I mean, is it maybe Vivian can, yeah, creating, I guess, creating the planner stickers.
If you're into planners, and I think I would suggest going into some of the planner communities and getting some information because they're always offering different types of ways to create things, different designs. I think that would be the best bet for that as that goes. But basically, I mean, you could just, you know, it would be very easy to create the stickers depending on what size they are. You can either do, you can add SVGs to the circle and then just do the print and cut. There's lots of opportunities to make your own stickers.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if there's any kind of templates or anything.
I don't think there was, and I haven't seen any.
Yeah. I thought Omar had some good, Omar's website didn't. I thought he had some planners.
Let's see.
And then I think planning, I meant, if you guys want to be on voice, you guys can. It's up to you guys if you guys want me to convert you guys to a voice to ask questions. Planner stickers, I believe, or you got your daily planner, and then you have. It seems to be very big now. Is to just deck out your planner book with these various types of stickers. Planner stickers. Let's see what they got. Yeah, so I mean, this is probably a good example is this stuff here. If you guys can see the screen, little stickers that came with PNGs, DXFs, a lot of steps to make them Cricut friendly. It's a pain. So something that you may be able to do. I was trying to think of a way to import the file, both the PNG and the DXF. Judy raised a hand. I wonder how you're raising hands. I wish I knew how to raise a hand. But yeah, did Omar have any? Did you have to see any?
No, there isn't any on his site.
Okay. Yeah, I meant.
And then you have the issue too with the printing because Cricut only allows a certain size, so you would have to print multiples. Versus a sheet of 8.5 by 11 stickers, you wouldn't be able to do that in Design Space because what is it 6 by 9 in some browsers?
See, I always carry this handy dandy.
I have it on my desktop, but
Cricut image sizes PNG. So there's your image size. Always keep this one handy, guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about print and cuts. So yes.
So you don't get a full size 8.5 by 11.
Yeah. Janice said that she's been using clip art, Avery labels to create her planner stickers. It's something called sticker paper 8.5 by 11.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Silhouette also has sticker paper as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Yeah, I'm a little off topic here, but have you guys seen this font yet? You've probably seen it, Michelle, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So I just released a video today, right before this webinar. I recorded it last night, but finished editing before this webinar. Goes over this font, so make sure you check it out. On how much easier it is in here compared to Design Space, because this program here will space everything perfectly. So watch that, guys, tonight. So, all right. Any other question? Well, let's see. She said search Cricut stickers. and on YouTube, they got excellent tutorials going over the stickers for your planner. There you go. So that's a good tip. So we can probably see what she's talking about. Let's see here. We got Cricut stickers, shell greatness. Oh, there it is. I believe that's the one. So I guess she goes over that stuff. So cool. Good deal. So we'll post that link to you. There you go. That's the one. Good deal. Well, all right. Well, I guess if there's not any more questions or anything, I do appreciate every one of y'all coming out and watching me yap and Michelle yap for about an hour. Hopefully, you guys got some good info. I want to do another webinar, but I'm going to put it on like a rotation here. I believe the next one that I really want to do is fonts. Where to find the font, how to install it, that kind of stuff. That would make great for cutting, and then how to add some shadow features to the font using some outside programs, since Design Space doesn't have many yet. But anyways, that may be in the future. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for coming out. And when I get this recording up, it'll be, like I said, it will be available for download, so you guys can download it as well. Okay. Oh yeah, how to organize fonts. Good topic. Cool. Yeah. So if you guys did enjoy this, make sure you spread the news with your friends so we can get more folks out here. All right. Okay. Hey, we'll see you next time, guys. All right. Bye.
Good night.
And stop. And end in meeting.